صباح الخير. عناوين اليوم: شراكة بين بينانس ودبي، السعودية تصدر صكوكا محلية، ومنصة شتل للخزانات الذكية عم تغلق جولة استثمارية الآن. يا أهلا وسهلا فيكم ببرنامجكم صباحكم مع سماشي. معي أنا هلا بسام، ومعنا بخلف الكواليس علي.
صباح الخير يا جماعة الخير.
كيفك اليوم علي؟
الحمد لله تمام.
مبسوط؟
مبسوط
إن شاء الله دايما يا رب. وخلونا نبدأ بأخبارنا لليوم ونحكي عن منصة بينانس، وتحديدا عن العملات المشفرة، حيث رحب مؤسس أكبر بورصة للعملات المشفرة في العالم بإعلان دبي أن مركز دبي التجاري العالمي سيصبح منظما للأصول الافتراضية والمشفرة. ونشر مؤسس بينانس اللي بيطلق على نفسه اسم CZ بتغريدة على تويتر الخبر الصادر عن المكتب الإعلامي لحكومة دبي. ومؤخرا أيضا أعلن زاو أنه اشترى منزله الأول في دبي لإظهار دعمه للمدينة اللي يصفها بأنها مناصر قوي للعملات المشفرة. وقال أيضا أنه حكومة دبي عم بتقدم للغاية وفيها تقدم كبير جدا وبيئة أعمال جاذبة جدا، حيث يريد أن يظهر التزامه بذلك المكان، لذلك قرر أنه يشتري شقة في دبي. وبينما سيقضي زاو مزيدا من الوقت في مركز الأعمال في الشرق الأوسط، إلا أنه لا يزال ملتزما تجاه سنغافورة تحديدا، حيث تقدمت شركة كانت تابعة لباينانس بطلب للحصول على ترخيص رسمي للعمل هناك. وقال أيضا أنه إذا نظرت إلى الإمارات العربية المتحدة وفرنسا وسنغافورة فستجد أن هذه المناطق جميعها مؤيدة جدا للعملات المشفرة وهذه البيئة. وعم تتنافس دبي الآن مع سنغافورة وسويسرا ودول أخرى أيضا لتصبح مركزا عالميا من خلال إنشاء منطقة حرة لدعم تداول الأصول المشفرة، كما أنها تتطلع إلى إصدار إطار تنظيمي يتضمن ترخيص تداول للعملات الرقمية والمشفرة. وأيضا غرد على تويتر بصورة له هو لابس الغترة والعقال والكندورة الإماراتية تحديدا ليظهر دعمه إلى دولة الإمارات، وتحديدا يعني أنه في أخبار عن نقل مقر باينانس إلى دبي. هذا خبر إيجابي جدا للعديد من الأشخاص المستثمرين، سواء كانوا الأفراد أو حتى الشركات الناشئة اللي حابة إنها تدخل في مجال العملات الرقمية والمشفرة. علي مبسوط أيضا، من أحد الأشخاص اللي مبسوطين على هذا الخبر لأنه خبر إيجابي جدا. خبرنا رأيك علي.
وايد مستانس ان قرروا ان يخلون المقر لباينانس هني بالامارات، خاصة في دبي. وايد مستانس كمستثمر، انا عايش هني بدبي، انا مستانس
طبعا، لانه بتعرف حتى رح يصير في تسهيلات كثير، فبالتالي هذا بيعني انه رح يصير مثلا امور الدفع وغيرها عن طريق العملات المشفره، وفيها بطريقه سلسه سهله وامان ايضا.
يمكن الحين مثل ما تشوفين تعرفين ابل باي، ممكن في باينانس
خلص نصير ندفع بالعملات المشفرة بالإثيريوم والدوتش كوين وغيرها. أكيد. أما إذا ننتقل إلى ثاني خبر معنا اليوم ونحكي عن المملكة العربية السعودية، أعلن المركز الوطني لإدارة الدين في السعودية يوم أمس الثلاثاء أن المملكة أصدرت صكوكا محلية بقيمة 415 مليون ريال سعودي، يعني حوالي 110 تقريبا مليون دولار في ديسمبر كانون الأول. وأضاف أيضا في بيان أنه الإصدار انقسم إلى شريحتين تبلغ أولهما 200 مليون ريال سعودي لصكوك تستحق في عام 2029، وبلغت الشريحة الثانية 215 مليون ريال سعودي لصكوك تستحق في عام 2031 تقريبا. كان حجم الإصدار المحلي من الصكوك في نوفمبر بلغ 614 مليون ريال، متضمنا شريحة واحدة تمثل القيمة الإجمالية لإصدار الصكوك التي ستستحق في عام 2033. يأتي الإصداران ضمن خطة الاقتراض السنوية لعام 2021 اللي تم الإعلان عنها وأعلن عنها تحديدا المركز بداية للعام المالي عبر موقعه الإلكتروني، واللي بيستعرض عبر جدول إصداراته المحلية لتتناسب مع أيام عمل السوق الدولية، فيما يتعلق أيضا بإعلانات الإصدار وأيضا مواعيد التسوية. أما عن آخر خبر معنا لليوم ونحكي عن الشركات الناشئة وأحد الاستثمارات الجديدة، ومؤخرا أعلنت شتل اللي هي منصة منصة حلول الخدمات اللوجستية المتخصصة بالخزانات الذكية عن إغلاق جولة استثمارية بقيمة 3.75 مليون ريال سعودي تقريبا بقيادة إمباكت 46 ومع مشاركة أيضا من مستثمرين استراتيجيين في المنطقة. تأسست المنصة منصة شاتل في عام 2020 على يد محمد الحسن لتقديم تجربة حديثة من الخزانات التقليدية إلى خزانات ذكية مستفيدة من تقنيات إنترنت الأشياء لتحسين دورة التشغيل اللوجستي من خلال تقديم خزائن الخدمة الذاتية كنقاط استلام للطرود. وبتأتي قيمة الخزانات الذكية بأنها أداة لتخزين الطرود بأمان وتبادلها أيضا من قبل أطراف مختلفة ومدعومة بالتقنية لتفاعل تلقائي. وتتيح المنصة للعملاء توثيق الطلب، الدفع أيضا والاستلام من خلال عملية مؤمتة بالكامل. طبعا عم نشوف إنه موضوع إنترنت الأشياء هو المستقبل، ولذلك أكيد رح يتم ضخ أموال والاستثمار بشركات ناشئة يعني عم تسعى بهذا المجال. هذه كانت كل أخبارنا الصباحية لليوم. بعد الفاصل خليكم معنا مقابلتنا مع مؤسسة سلورب فارم شرافي مالك. خليكم معنا ولا تروحوا لبعيد. And we're back with our guest in the studio, the founder of Slurp Farm, Shura V. Malik. Did I say it right?
You did.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Nice to be with you.
We would like to know a brief about the company. You started in 2016 in India and you moved here now to the UAE. You expanded. So can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, I'm the co-founder of Slurp Farm. It's a food company for children that I started with my friend Meghna. Both of us actually had very different jobs. She used to work at McKinsey and was always in the public health sector.
Yeah.
And I used to work at JP Morgan and then Virgin Group,
Wow.
but always worked with consumer healthcare companies. And we realized at the time we were living in London that a lot of our friends kept asking us to get them healthy snack options back to India. And so therefore Slurp Farm was born and as an idea. And as we did more research in the field of food, we also realized or learned to work with an ingredient or a grain called millets. And so we started using millets in a lot of what we make.
Can you tell us more about it,
Yeah.
please?
So millets are a sustainable grain. They don't require a lot of water and they don't require any pesticides or fertilizer to grow. It's like the quinoa of much of the world.
Nice.
Actually, they grow, they can grow in different climates. They grow in Africa, in Europe, in India, in China. And people need to eat them because you don't need to pop the pills. They have a lot of different micronutrients in them and great for children to eat. And they're first food in many cultures, in African and Indian cultures, they're the first food the children are fed.
That's amazing, yeah.
So
it's available and
it's easily available. It's grown often by very small farmers. So we started using a lot of it in all the food that we make. And everything that we make has a zero junk promise. It's made by two moms. It's as if you would make it in your own house.
For your own children?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's amazing. Why did you decide to expand to the UAE?
So I basically have been living in the UAE for the last 6.5 years. We moved here, started selling in the UAE 2 years ago, and we wanted to do that because I think this is like a really awesome market for children. There's so much to do here, and I also think that there's a lot of different sort of almost a need for healthy food options.
100%.
1 in 3 children in this region will have diabetes. And this can be changed by changing your early childhood diet. One of the things that we did when we had launched that we were in a lot of different school canteens.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really interesting because there's a lot of regulations around what can go into a school canteen, but no regulation about what can be in the retail store.
Yep.
So it's very difficult. Then it means in school the child is eating really well, but then when they go home, they eat whatever. And so that was our first start in the UAE, and we'd love to do more. We are now in lots of different stores, including offline stores like Spinneys, but also in Mum's World and Gibson's and Amazon and Noon and all the normal online channels, and looking forward to reaching lots more children.
Of course, that's very important. How was COVID? How did it impact you? Especially that we were chatting that you were in schools and canteens in schools and schools shut down and it was learning from home.
It was a shock,
right?
Like for everybody, and I don't know how it was for you, but I'd say the first few months we couldn't even send things from India anywhere. So that was like a supply chain
adjustment. Even the logistics part is a challenge.
Yeah. But then I think the world bounced back quite easily, right? I remember the first few months because we were actually keeping food at home because we were worried, would the UAE have enough food? Would food supplies be, would they still remain open? But the adjustment was maybe a few months. We had a few months where we were not in the market, and then we relaunched in the UAE in 2020, and it's really nice. It's good to be back.
Yeah, that's really good, and especially now you feel like everything is becoming more on the positive side, and as you said, like businesses are bouncing back fast now, especially with Expo, everything in Dubai, it has a very positive impact. I've read that you want to invest around 1 million dirhams just to make this difference and to support your mission. So can you tell us more about that?
I think, to grow the brand in the region will require us to invest both in retail as well as in visibility, in marketing, in people knowing the brand. And that is our commitment to growing Slurp Farm in the UAE, both from people knowing about the brand, but also from being able to reach the customer, right? Because you have to make sure that you're able to be placed in the stores that people go to make sure that when there's an event or there's places for children to discover your brand. So that is what we will invest in, and then growing team here.
That's very interesting. Did you find it challenging to raise awareness of how important it is for families and the parents to make their kids consciously eat healthy food?
No, I don't think it's challenging. In that, I think that schools are very receptive to the message, and it was really, for me, it was really interesting because my son actually called me, and I was traveling on a work trip, and I was back in India, and he called me and he said, you know that I saw Slurp Farm in my school today.
Oh wow!
So I said, what? And how come? And he said, oh, the Ripe has a market, and they go to schools.
Yeah.
And so he said, oh, I was in that organic market, and I thought it was really interesting that there is that concept that schools actually allow different food companies to come in and be on their school campus, right?
Yeah.
It's really nice. And I think that by and large people are very open to being healthy and being informed and learning and being educated.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any barriers to that. I actually think there's really, really strong efforts towards trying to give children healthier options, especially in the whole schooling system.
Yeah.
But equally, like, there's a lot of interesting legislation. I could go on for long. It's not that exciting.
No, yeah, please.
But around how every food item needs to be labeled correctly.
Yeah.
That legislation is changing, and it's really, really good for children. And all the proactive things that stores are going to have to do, you know, like the sugar tax in the UK a little bit. All of that is going to come. And I think the UAE is quite ahead of the curve, so it'll be in a good place.
True. And can you share with us some numbers of how many customers do you have so far?
Yeah, happy to. So we have served about 1 million customers so far over our lifetime. Every month the last year has been very, very strong growth. So I would say currently we're at about 150,000 customers a month, and we have a very high repeat rate.
That's great. That shows
in that. So the early years were like 10,000 and 20,000 and growing, and the last year has been really, really and obviously we don't have a way of saying exact number of customers, but we know from how much we sell roughly how much each family would buy, and then how much of that is repeating as customers.
Did you see any trend during the past period of time?
In terms of like
purchase, like are people buying more in bulk, or no, it was less or something?
It's interesting you asked that. So in the beginning of COVID, yes, there was definitely that, like, you know, every time there would be lockdown or a sense of a lockdown, we'd see that. I think no, it's become normal growth right now. And then obviously the more awareness that you spread about your brand, it's linked to that. You know, I have less maybe understanding of exactly how customer growth happens when it's not related to website sales. But on our website we can tell quite a lot of detail on exactly how people's consumption is changing. I think the other interesting thing is we use the insight that we get from talking to our customer on even changing the products.
Wow.
So for example, a lot of people were like, well, we love your products for younger children, and so now can you please make something for my older child? So we launched noodles recently.
Nice.
And they're millet noodles. They're gluten free, so they're really, really good for children to eat. They're not fried, and they don't have any artificial junk inside them. So do try them.
That's amazing. What's the most selling item you have?
The pancakes.
Oh, yeah, sure. Expected. Yeah, exactly. That's nice. And from the data that you get, you said that you changed your decisions and something like that, which is great. And that shows you how important data is. And I think e-commerce or the website helps a lot in that. And even social media, interacting with customers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and how's your social media strategy going and the marketing for the brand?
So it's interesting, right? Like nowadays when you actually go to market, your Instagram is a way for people to know directly what the customer is saying, so your feedback is instant. But it's also a way for us to be really close to our customer in a way that older brands cannot be. Because you have so many layers in a company which is older, whereas over here I will read the Instagram account as will other people in the company and know immediately. So we're close to almost 100,000 followers on Instagram. But what happens as a result of that is whenever there's a new launch or there's a new recipe even or something's going up, the feedback and the response is instant.
Yeah, exactly.
It's instant and it's really, really nice. And it works both ways, right? Sometimes you'll do something and people will be like, wow, well done. Or sometimes they'll be like, that was not great. Or you could do this differently. And we take that on board. It's really important to listen. And I'll tell you something really funny, actually. We realized during COVID that a third of our customers were not coming to us for children.
Really?
So they were young men often wanting to eat the pancakes because they're gluten-free and millets are gluten-free. So they were these really like fit, fitness freaks. And someone had posted on this diet, you must eat these pancakes and this dosa, it's like a savory crap. And we didn't know that. And so we're actually launching an adult brand.
Nice.
Because of the number of young people who were into fitness eating what Slurp Farm makes. And that actually came entirely from listening to the customer.
Yeah, and I think COVID changed a lot, even our behavior and lifestyle. People started like taking their health so seriously now as a priority in terms of being active, and especially lockdown. People were not active during lockdown. Some people were trying hard to work out even at home. So
but I think more people were working out during COVID.
Yeah,
do you think?
I
think the whole like wellness, month or Dubai really
I think
going
the awareness,
into that.
The awareness was really high.
But I think that it follows, right? Because the minute you start being more active and there's a lot more exercise, then you start thinking, what am I eating? That always comes next.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very, very important. Can you share with us some of your future plans?
Oh, sure. Lots of fun plans. Firstly, the adult brand, like I told you. Secondly, we've also recently launched in the UK and the US. So I always had this dream, like you see Cadbury's, as a kid, I would have a Cadbury's chocolate everywhere and in the world. And so I always wonder, I don't know if you felt that, like, oh, how is this chocolate like everywhere I go? Right? And so when Slurp Farm started, the dream was to say, I should be able to eat this pancake and this kid's cereal anywhere in the world. And so that's part of
good.
Yeah. So we won this Amazon Accelerator and we get to be in many different countries as a result of it, which is really exciting because you actually realize how e-commerce has no boundaries in one way, although you have shipping and logistics and all of the operational challenges, but everybody has the app on their phone.
Exactly, and everyone can
you can reach your customer. That's one part of our plan. I think the second part of our plan is to be more available in the entire region. So not just the UAE, but the wider MENA region. So we're going to work on doing that in terms of, since we already supply here, we would like to grow within this region. A lot of exciting things in terms of different influencers and celebrities that we would like to be able to share the message of what Slurp Farm does.
And it's very important, influencer marketing, and it plays a huge role nowadays, honestly.
I think it's so nice because it somewhere democratizes the process in a way. And you never know, your biggest influencer is your customer.
100%. Yeah, of course. Best of luck, and thank you so much for being with us. And hopefully we'll see the brand growing globally. Thank you so much. شكرا لكل الناس اللي تابعتنا. أنا بشوفكم بكرة بنفس الموعد. نهاركم سعيد جميعا.